What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Joey JCM, and today we're here talking about. I was just hanging out with some 3DS stuff, and I'm looking at it, staring at it, and I'm like, man, are we ever gonna see a upgrade to the 3DS? Are we ever gonna see a next Nintendo handheld, a 4DS, right? Are we ever gonna see that? I was thinking about that, and I'm like, we kind of have a unique situation now. Like, for the first time ever, Nintendo's console can also turn into a handheld. So if they release another handheld, if they did upgrade the 3DS, 4DS, whatever you want to call it, that kind of would go against what Nintendo is selling right now. You know what I mean? And Nintendo doesn't want to, go against the momentum or hurt the momentum of the Switch. The Switch is doing phenomenal. It's really on its way to becoming super successful. And why would Nintendo just want to disrupt that? You know what I mean? It's not like a time where, it's just a console. It turns into a handheld. So why would they pitch you to buy another handheld when this thing turns into a handheld? So it got me to thinking. I was thinking also, handhelds have been such a part of Nintendo's history forever. really since NES, forever, really. Game Boy didn't come out not that long after NES did, really. So handhelds have always been a part of Nintendo's history, along with the console. So will Nintendo get rid of their handheld completely? Will they eventually phase 3DS out because Switch does both? You know what I mean? That's another thing too. 3DS was so successful, and DS also. I think DS actually is the top selling video game system overall of all time. PS2 has the crown for most consoles, most video game console sales. But DS, the original DS, I believe, it has the most video game system in general sales of all time. So DS and 3DS, super successful. So I'm sure Nintendo's trying to figure out a way, 3DS is so successful, do we really want to get rid of it, phase it out? What do we do? Like I said, this is a unique situation. We've never seen this before, where how can they release another handheld when their console now does both? Even though it's a console, it still does handheld stuff. So can they release another, handheld only thing when their current really hot item does handheld too? Kind of contradicts. Like I said, it's the first time we're seeing this. First time we have a scenario like this. So what is going to happen? I'm sure Nintendo is asking themselves that same question. I'm sure they have a million ideas and they know what they're going to do. Who knows, But I'm sure that question is being asked, because it is a unique situation, So as far as a new 3DS, I can't see it for a long time, because the 3DS is really successful. They still have stuff coming out for it. There's still Pokemon games coming out for it. Metroid, Samus Returns just came out for it. But then I got to thinking, what happens now when the Pokemon Switch game comes out? Because it's actually going to be a mainline Pokemon game, red and blue, yellow, it's going to be one of those, right? So, wow, what happens then? I mean, if it only comes out for Switch, I gotta say, I think at that point then, I would say 3DS is going to be kind of done at that point. You know what I'm saying? But what could they, imagine though. Imagine to try to keep the 3DS going. They do a situation where you have a 3DS Pokemon game and then a Switch Pokemon game. It's like red and blue, but it's on different systems. So if you want to trade your exclusive Pokemon, you can do a system from system. Maybe they'll do something like that. I don't know. But then again, I kind of feel like that's taking away from the situation of the very first Pokemon game on a console. You know what I mean? So would they attempt to try to take some of that momentum away? I mean, would that even be taking momentum away in that situation? I kind of feel like they would. It's like Nintendo's first Pokemon on a console, you know. So would they want to even a little bit take away from that momentum? Would they want the attention to just be on that and make that game sell huge, you know? Or maybe they could, you know, if they want to keep the 3DS going, maybe they'll do, you know, like red and blue and yellow. Maybe we'll do red and blue, a type sort of, you know, red and blue on 3DS, and then have the quote-unquote yellow on the Switch. But like I said, I don't know. I kind of feel that they wouldn't want to take any sort of momentum away from the first ever Pokemon mainstream game on a console, right? So at that point, what happens to 3DS? If it's only on Switch, I would say at that point, 3DS is kind of like officially done at that point. I'm sure you're still going to see like the Lego games and stuff like that. I mean, 3DS has a huge install base, so third parties and stuff like, you know, are still going to want to be on 3DS. Even systems that Nintendo kind of stops making their games for, third parties make their games for as long as possible, you know, Game Boy Advance and stuff, any kind of system, especially the handhelds. So then I said, I can't see a new 3DS. I can't see a 4DS until like really down the line when Switch is like, you know, officially like the sales are coming slowing down. But like, I mean, Switch is on its way to being a huge seller. Like, it's like at least the same success. I'm gonna say more. I'm gonna say it's gonna be up there with like the Wii, maybe slightly below. Like Wii was like what, 100 something million, right? Wow, that's crazy to think about. I think either Switch is gonna be like 90 million or it's gonna beat the Wii. You know, could it beat the DS? I don't know, but right now I feel that it could beat the Wii. I feel like it's gonna go above 100 million. Man, so like, if anything, I can't see an upgraded 3DS until like that point where Switch gets up there and maybe the sales. We don't know what's gonna happen with the Switch, because again, another first time situation here that we have is that Switch is a you know, handheld console that turns to a handheld. So we don't know what's gonna happen. You know, like, I mean, Nintendo's consoles sell amazing. Wii U, you know, was, who knows what happened with that, you know. But generally, Nintendo's consoles sell really good. We're talking from like the 50 to 100,000 range, whatever. But it's still, even if you want to say average 50,000 from the past generations, combine that with their handheld sales. You know what I mean? And now you have a system that is console and handheld. I mean, if you combine one of Nintendo's like Nintendo's handheld average, we're talking like 60 million. You know, their console average is like 50 million. So you even take that right there, you're beating the Wii in sales. You know, so you combine their averages. You're not even combining the top console, top handheld. So we don't even know what's going to happen. You know, this is Nintendo's first console that's a console and handheld, so we don't know what's going to happen. It could wind up combining console and handheld sales and being the best-selling console of all time, best-selling video games. Who knows? It could be the DS. Who knows? Who knows? Right? It's we'll see what happens. You know. So. But anyway, like I can't see an upgrade to like 3DS, like a new DS, until if anything, at that point where you got like 100 million and it's like kind of slowing down. But like, I don't know, like I said, I can't see that with Switch. I can't see it slowing down because there's there's so many more things you can do now that it's a handheld and a console. So I see it like going on. I'm almost seeing 150 million in my head, or maybe a little more. I don't know. But you know, you're taking console life, handheld life, put them together. Who knows, right? But you know, so as far as a new DS, I can't see it into a point where Switch slows down. But and also, this just came to my mind too. And in order to make the sales of the Switch seem greater and add to it, you know, like 3DS, they keep making different 3DSs. The 2D, you know, the 3DS family consists of, you know, the 2DSs, the 3DSs, the original 3DS, the 3DS XL, the 2DS, the new 3DS XL, the new 2DS XL. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, they could say, you know, the 3DS family of systems have sold X amount. Then they could, you know, say basically that 3DS's lifetime sales are this, or were the, you know. All this brings me to maybe the DS era might eventually. I mean, I don't see them stopping making 3DSs forever. Like, for a long time. I can't even see that at this point, right? Who knows? And like I said, even if Nintendo releases their last big game on the 3DS, third parties are still gonna release games for it. They want it there. I feel like they want it there. You know what I mean? So even if, you know, they're kind of done releasing, you know, big titles. You know, I could see maybe stuff like, you know, the Hey Pikmin game that just came out. It was a Nintendo game, you know, it's Pikmin, but it wasn't like, you know, explosive, you know, super big. Awesome game, Hey Pikmin, you know, but high profile, whatever you want to call it. So even if Nintendo's done with releasing high profile stuff on 3DS, I still see it going on for a very long time. Like, I don't see it ending at all, or anytime soon at all. You know, 3DS is still going to be selling, third parties are still going to be putting games out there. And if it does stubbornly keep going, you know, I'm sure Nintendo will release another sort of like Hey Pikmin-esque, you know, non-high profile Nintendo stuff for DS to like supplement it and give it a little boost and make it keep going even more. Because they want money. Yeah, they want it. It's great. You know, they'll have it run as long as possible. But I could see this though. I could see them maybe not making an upgrade to the 3DS for the foreseeable future. But what they might do is make a Switch Mini, right? Meaning that we all know that consoles get smaller over time, right? You know, you have the PS4, the PS4 Slim, you know, PS2 Slim, even Xbox One, they made a smaller, you know, even 360 got smaller over time. So Switch is, oh my God, how small it is now. It's crazy the power you can get out of Switch, a little below Xbox One. And it's, I keep saying it over and over in almost every video I talk about this stuff, but I play Switch mostly in console TV mode, but when I do take it out and use it and play it in handheld mode, I still get this like, oh, I'm playing it off of Wi-Fi like I would a PS Vita, you know, and like there's a main Switch system somewhere, and this screen is streaming it off Wi-Fi or something, you know, but then it hits, it's like, oh my, it's still like, I can't like fathom it that this thing is the system, you know. It's like, how was I just playing this on TV, but then I could take this little thing out that's the same, like, you know, it's the same kind of what? Like, it still just blows my mind. It still blows my mind that it's the same thing that I was seeing on TV. It's crazy. But a Switch Mini basically geared towards people that just want handheld. You know what I'm saying? That like maybe, you know, just to be able to say like, oh, you have a bigger, you know, like just like the 3DS, you have a regular 3DS size and you have a 3DS XL or DS XL. You know, they could sway it in that way where it's like, you know, you get the regular Switch or the Switch Mini. Like, what size do you want? Maybe you do want to take this thing on the go and have that bigger screen. But for those that want a more pocket size experience, you could have your Switch Mini, or you could just get a Switch Mini and use that as your system too. You know, why they could make a dock for that, or it could fit in the same dock or whatever. But that's kind of what I'm seeing in the future. I see, you know, the Switch and a Switch Mini as their pseudo, you know, console / handheld thing. But then at the same time, they could also be like, hey, the Switch Mini is in the Switch family, and combined, the Switch has sold, you know, X amount. But yeah, guys. So that's what I see in the future. I see 3DS not getting upgraded until maybe, if ever, you know, and just keep going, keep riding it out. I feel like the 3DS is going to be around forever still. I see 3DS going until it's, you know, just going and going. Yeah, I don't see it ending anytime soon. The only way, like I said, I could see an upgrade to the DS is in a situation where Switch slows down, but I can't see that. So I think my final answer is that what I see right now is Switch being uber, super, record-breaking successful 3DS going on, just going on. It's still staying there with the Switch. Like never, I feel like 3DS is going to be the system that just never goes away. You know what I mean? It's always going to be there. It's like people are going to be like, 3DS still exists, and then they're going to check the facts, and it's going to be like, whoa, 3DS is still like selling this much, and all these games are still coming out for 3DS, even if it's just third party. I feel like that's going to be the situation, and I think for Nintendo's future of handheld stuff, they do want to keep it combined into one thing. Because, I mean, hey, you know, again, that's what the Switch was. They even made a whole new building and merged the console and handheld people, you know? So, to put everyone's energy and firepower towards one system, you know? One system, and have all those sales so Nintendo could say, Switch has sold this and that. All their production gets thrown into one pot. You don't have to worry about selling two things. You know, now you sell one thing, and it could do the both things, and so all these games are coming towards one thing. Every month they could have a big release. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that, hey, maybe the 3DS is going to get an upgrade sometime soon? Do you think after 3DS, that's it, and we won't be seeing another DS upgrade? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you feel like the next Suda handheld is going to be a Switch Mini? Or maybe you think that Switch and 3DS is going to go along forever and Nintendo's still going to make high-profile games for 3DS. But that's what I think, guys, and you know what you think. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Joey JCM. You guys know all the ways you can raise the power level of the channel, and I will see you guys later.